Why you should fear an INFJ. Have you ever met someone who could see right through you? Someone who seemed kind, gentle, and deeply introspective, yet, beneath the surface, held an intensity that left you unsettled? If so, you may have encountered an INFJ. As the rarest personality type, INFJs are known for their compassion and insight, but there's a side to them that most people never see. A side that, when triggered, can be unsettling, powerful, and yes, something to fear. In this deep dive, we'll explore the key reasons why INFJs can be intimidating, unpredictable, and even dangerous in ways most people don't expect. But don't misunderstand, INFJs are not malicious. Their danger isn't about aggression or cruelty, it's about the depth of their mind, the power of their intuition, and the intensity of their emotions when pushed too far. Stay with me to the end, because if you've ever underestimated an INFJ, you're about to learn why that's a mistake you don't want to make. 1. They see through lies instantly. INFJs have an almost supernatural ability to detect dishonesty. Whether it's a white lie, emotional manipulation, or hidden intentions, they can see right through it. This isn't just intuition, it's a combination of pattern recognition, subconscious observation, and deep psychological insight. An INFJ in a workplace setting instantly senses when a colleague is being fake friendly. Even before any proof emerges, they just know something is off. Weeks later, the truth comes out, the person was trying to sabotage them behind the scenes. If you're an INFJ, trust your gut. If you feel someone is lying, you're probably right. If you're not an INFJ, don't try to deceive one. They will find out. 2. They can emotionally disconnect without warning. INFJs are deeply emotional beings, but when betrayed or hurt, they can flip a switch and detach completely. They don't do drama, they do distance. Once an INFJ decides to cut ties, it's permanent. An INFJ in a toxic friendship reaches a breaking point. One day, they simply walk away, no confrontation, no explanation. To the other person, it feels like an overnight disappearance, but in reality, the INFJ had been withdrawing for months. If you value an INFJ in your life, never take them for granted. If they're still emotionally invested, you have a chance. Once they detach, it's over. 3. Their revenge is silence and success. INFJs don't seek revenge in the traditional sense. They don't scream, fight, or retaliate. Instead, they go silent. They disappear, heal, and then outgrow the person who wronged them, often achieving incredible success in the process. After being betrayed by a partner, an INFJ channels all their pain into personal growth, career success, and self-improvement. Years later, the person who hurt them watches from the sidelines as the INFJ thrives beyond imagination. INFJs teach us that the best revenge isn't destruction, it's elevation. If you're an INFJ, use your pain as fuel. If you're not, don't betray an INFJ expecting an argument, you'll just become a memory. 4. They absorb and reflect your energy. INFJs act like mirrors. If you approach them with love, they reflect warmth and understanding. But if you approach them with negativity or manipulation, they will subtly reflect that energy back at you, often in a way that leaves you questioning yourself. A manipulative person tries to guilt trip an INFJ. Instead of reacting emotionally, the INFJ remains calm, simply repeating the manipulator's words in a neutral tone. The manipulator suddenly feels exposed, uncomfortable, and unsure of themselves. Be genuine with INFJs. They will amplify whatever energy you bring to them, make sure it's something you'd want to experience yourself. 5. They can predict outcomes before they happen. INFJs have a mind that works like a chessboard. They see several moves ahead, picking up on subtle cues and predicting how situations will unfold, often long before anyone else realizes it. An INFJ warns their friend that a new relationship feels off. The friend dismisses it, thinking the INFJ is overreacting. Months later, the friend discovers their partner had been dishonest all along. If an INFJ warns you about something, pay attention. They aren't guessing, they're seeing what others miss. 6. They experience emotional overwhelm but hide it well. INFJs feel emotions more intensely than most, but they rarely show it. They will often endure pain silently, processing it internally until they find a way to move forward. This makes them appear unshakable, even when they're deeply affected. An INFJ going through a personal crisis still manages to support their friends and fulfill responsibilities, all while hiding the storm raging inside them. If you're an INFJ, prioritize self-care and safe outlets for expression. If you know an INFJ, check in on them, they may be struggling more than they let on. 7. They have a mysterious and unpredictable side. Just when you think you have an INFJ figured out, they surprise you. They can be warm and engaging one moment, then distant and introspective the next. This unpredictability keeps people guessing and sometimes even intimidated. A friend believes they know an INFJ's limits, only for the INFJ to suddenly change direction, leave a job, or cut off a toxic relationship without warning. Don't assume you fully understand an INFJ, they are constantly evolving, and their depth goes far beyond what they show on the surface. 8. They can make people feel exposed. INFJs have a way of making people feel like they're under a microscope. Their intense gaze, insightful questions, and deep understanding can leave people feeling vulnerable, sometimes uncomfortably so. In conversation, an INFJ asks a simple yet piercing question that forces the other person to confront emotions they weren't ready to face. If you're an INFJ, be mindful of how deeply you probe into people's emotions. If you're not, understand that an INFJ's curiosity isn't meant to harm, it's their way of understanding you on a soul level. 9. They are masters of controlled chaos. INFJs have an inner world that is rich, complex, and sometimes chaotic. They thrive in environments that seem unpredictable because they can organize their thoughts and actions with precision. While everyone around them panics in a crisis, an INFJ remains eerily calm, assessing the situation and making calculated decisions. Trust an INFJ's ability to handle difficult situations. They are not as fragile as they appear. 10. They are experts at disappearing when necessary. INFJs are masters of the vanishing act. When they've had enough, they will retreat into their inner world, cutting off external distractions and people who drain them. A stressed out INFJ deactivates social media, stops responding to messages, and goes into deep solitude to recharge. Weeks later, they return with a renewed sense of clarity. If an INFJ disappears, respect their space. They will come back when they're ready. 11. Your desire for authenticity. INFJs are allergic to anything fake. You crave authenticity, and you see the world in stark contrast, real or not real. When people try to mask their true selves, you feel an inner conflict. This can cause discomfort in relationships, because you're not willing to settle for superficiality. At a dinner party, someone might try to impress others with their stories, but you can sense the exaggeration, the lack of truth. While others might simply go along with it, you're internally struggling because you want to connect on a real level, not on a facade. Let others come to their authenticity in their own time. If you push too hard for honesty, you risk isolating people who aren't yet ready to be vulnerable with you. Offer your genuine self first and wait for them to meet you there. 12. You have an aura of mystery. INFJs are notorious for being enigmatic. People often don't understand you completely, and that mystery can create fear. Your quiet nature combined with your complexity leads people to wonder what you're thinking, and this uncertainty can make them uncomfortable. You might be at a gathering, quietly observing the conversation. You don't say much, but when you do, it's profound. People are drawn to you, but they can't quite figure you out. This unknowability causes both fascination and fear. Embrace your mystery, but don't let it isolate you. Sharing small pieces of your inner world gradually can help others connect without feeling overwhelmed by your depth. 13. You can make people feel inadequate. Your idealism and high standards can make others feel like they fall short. You hold yourself to the highest standards, and often, this is projected onto those around you, whether intentionally or not. When you push people to be better, they might interpret it as judgment or a reminder of their own perceived failures. If they don't share your drive or standards, they might feel unworthy or inadequate in your presence. Be mindful of your expectations of others. While your desire for self-improvement is admirable, not everyone shares the same ambitions or worldview. A gentle, supportive approach to encouraging growth will likely yield better results. 14. Your ability to push people's boundaries. Because you understand the unspoken needs of others so well, you might sometimes inadvertently push people to confront things they aren't ready to face. This can leave them feeling vulnerable and uncomfortable. You might sense that a friend is hiding something painful, and in your effort to help them work through it, you might ask questions or offer solutions before they're ready. They might feel invaded or pressured to share when they aren't yet emotionally prepared. Respect boundaries. Let others approach their issues in their own time. You can offer support, but allow them the space to decide when they're ready to confront what they've been avoiding. So, should you fear an INFJ? Not in the way you might fear aggression or hostility. INFJs are not violent, nor are they cruel. But you should fear underestimating them. You should fear betraying their trust, assuming they don't notice things, or thinking their kindness means weakness. Because when an INFJ reaches their breaking point, they won't fight back, they'll disappear, thrive, and leave you questioning everything. If this resonated with you, let me know in the comments, what's the most INFJ thing you've ever done? Let's talk. And if you haven't already, hit that like, subscribe, and notification bell so you don't miss our deep dives into the INFJ mind. Stay safe, and see you in the next one.